My mother-in-law uninvited my parents from our baby's first birthday party because they're too loud and ethnic. My husband says I should understand where she's coming from. 3 days before Hez's first birthday party, my mother-in-law called to inform me she would made an executive decision to uninvite my parents. They're too loud and ethnic and would overwhelm the atmosphere she was trying to create. Let me back up. I am Filipino, American. First generation, my parents are the type who bring enough food to feed an army, laugh from their bellies, and show love through endless hugs and cheek pinches. My husband David grew up in what he calls WASP culture, turned formal dinners, indoor voices and emotions expressed through polite nods. When we married 5 years ago, these differences caused some tension, but we found a balance. David came to love my family's warmth, and my parents learned to tone down their volume at certain events. It worked because everyone tried. For Tess's birthday, my mother-in-law, Patricia, insisted on hosting at her country club. I agreed, thinking it would be a beautiful venue. What I didn't realize was that she saw this as complete creative control. I've created a very specific aesthetic, Patricia explained over the phone. It's a garden tea party theme with delicate pastels your parents. They just won't fit. I was stunned silent. She continued, remember your wedding, your mother wore that bright red dress and your father kept calling everyone to the dance floor. It was charming for that occasion, but this is different. When I found my voice, I reminded her that my parents had been looking forward to this for months. My mother had already bought Tazij, a traditional Filipino dress, as a gift. That's exactly what I mean, Patricia sighed. Everything with them becomes so cultural. This isn't a cultural event. It's just a nice, traditional first birthday. I hung up and immediately called David at work, expecting him to be as outraged as I was. Instead, after a long pause, he said, Mom's put a lot of effort into this party. Maybe we could have a separate celebration with your parents. You know how they can be. That night, we had our first major fight since Tejas was born. I reminded David how my parents had moved their schedules around to help us when Tejas was born, how they'd driven 3 hours every other weekend to give us breaks. How my mother taught him to make chicken adobo because it was my comfort food after a difficult delivery. Your mother is excluding my parents because they're not white enough for her country club friends, I finally said. David's response knocked the wind out of me. That's not fair. My mom just wants one day that's calm and elegant. Your family can be a lot to handle. When I called my parents to tell them what happened, my mother immediately said, It's okay, Anik. We will celebrate another day. Don't make trouble with your in-laws. Her immediate accommodation broke my heart even more this morning. I packed Hazij's diaper bag, her favorite toys, and enough clothes for a few days. We're currently at my parents' house, where my mother is singing Filipino nursery rhymes to Tasij, and my father is already planning a birthday celebration with enough food for the entire neighborhood. David has called 17 times. His last text, You are overreacting. Come home so we can discuss this rationally. It's about my daughter growing up knowing both sides of her heritage. It's about not teaching her that some parts of her identity need to be quieter, less visible, less ethnic. The only thing I am still trying to decide is whether to show up at the country club party, anyway part with my loud, loving Filipino family in tow. Some birthdays aren't just about cake and presents. Sometimes they're about deciding what kind of family you want to be.